You know what nobody talks about? It's how you can technically have a really good life and you still feel emotionally disconnected from it. You always did the responsible thing. You worked hard. You were the go to person. You always stayed disciplined. And now everybody looks at you and says, oh, wow, look at them. They're doing great. But internally, you know what the truth is. You feel exhausted, disconnected from your own life that you worked so hard to build. You feel numb. And honestly, this is the problem of a lot of high achievers. A lot of high achievers are not actually thriving. They're just surviving in an extremely productive way. And that's a difference. The difference is survivor mode doesn't always look dramatic. Oh, wow, they're just surviving. Fine. It sometimes looks like you're going to work every day. You're replying to emails. You're working out. You're exercising, having movement, paying bills, showing up for everybody else, your friends, your family, your spouse. And slowly you're losing connection with yourself. I think a lot of millennials are experiencing this right now at this stage in their life. We became the generation of functionality and of just surviving. We know how to keep going no matter how tired we are emotionally, physically, mentally, whether there's a pandemic, whether the stock market is going on, doesn't matter. We just continue to function and people praise us for it. Eventually, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize that your entire personality is just being the responsible one. Nothing wrong in it, but you don't even know what you enjoy anymore outside of being productive or outside of this hustle culture. You don't know how to rest without feeling guilty. You don't know how to sit without feeling anxious and do nothing. And you know what the hardest part is going to be? You know that nobody's noticing this in you. Nobody notices that you're struggling because you made this life where you look successful from the outside. And that's what high functioning burnout is. You're still operating, but you don't feel alive anymore. And I think one of the reasons this happens is because a lot of us built lives around survival and earning more money instead of aligning to our values, instead of aligning to a life that makes us feel happy and makes us feel, wow, I love my life. We chose what felt safe, what looked successful on paper, and what made sense logically, but not always what made us feel connected emotionally. And eventually, that is catching up. I know that's catching up to you. That's why you're here. Because humans are not machines. You cannot disconnect from yourself for years and then expect fulfillment to magically appear from somewhere, from a tree or under a tree, I don't know where. And I know some people watching this are probably thinking, okay, I know this is happening and I know I built something which was safe but is not making me happy. But what do I do about it? And what can be done about it? Honestly, if you ask me, I don't think the solution is in blowing up your life overnight or changing things drastically starting tomorrow. I think the solution starts smaller than that. Smaller, but honest. Because healing doesn't usually start with this big change and retreats and solo trips and yoga and meditation. It starts with awareness. And trust me, I've been there, done that, and I know how that feels. You know that you have to be aware of what's going on inside yourself. And for that, you need to give time to yourself. You finally have to start admitting and realizing that, okay, something about the way that I'm living is no longer working out for me. And it's not going to be easy. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling you out here. It is uncomfortable, especially for people like you and I who are high achievers and overly ambitious about everything. Because when you've built your identity around being capable and being responsible, slowing down is actually going to feel super terrifying. And you're going to feel guilty for everything. You are going to feel guilty that you are struggling to just do the basic things when it comes easy for the rest of them, you know. Oh, it's the weekend, just sit around, go fish, do nothing, or just watch TV, do nothing. But that makes you feel guilty because you know you have so much potential in you and you're not doing anything about it. And you tell yourself, oh, but you know what? I need to be grateful for the life that I built. Other people have it worse. Technically, my life is fine. I don't have any problems. I have a roof on my head. I can pay my bills. And maybe that's true. It is 100% true for the most of us. But emotional exhaustion doesn't just disappear because your life is going to look okay on paper, because you get 100 out of 100 on paper. And I think that's where people get stuck. You keep trying to optimize yourself. You keep trying to optimize your systems, everything around you, instead of just sitting down and listening to your own self, instead of listening to your body. Don't go behind another routine, another productivity trap, and another self help, self improvement strategy. No, sometimes the issue is not discipline. You already proved that you're disciplined enough. Sometimes the issue is disconnection. That's what I'm trying to point out. I want you to be connected with yourself. I want to know what you like, what gives you joy, what recharges you. And I want you to just stop doing things for the sake of doing things. 100%. I am sure that you might have stopped checking in with yourself years ago because you became so focused on being the best. You became focused on surviving. You stopped noticing what's draining you, what's bringing you down emotionally, what's exhausting you, what environments make you feel heavy, even though they're paying well. What relationships are making you feel performative? Like, oh, yes, she's a great friend of mine, but is she actually listening to you? Do you actually pay attention to what's going on in her life? Do you care about her? Is that just performative or is that real? And what part of your life no longer feels aligned with your becoming? I had a podcast episode last year on becoming, and that means a completely different thing than you're thinking right now. And you know what? I think one of the most powerful things that you can do is start paying attention again to what gives you energy, what depletes your energy, like what's sucking the life out of you, and what most feels like yourself. It could be any simple thing. It could feel just not being connected to phone, Wi-Fi, or any networks for 5 minutes. Or maybe it's painting, maybe it's sketching, maybe it's just dancing, maybe it's going on a walk or meeting your friends for a coffee or a drink or whatever. I want you to pay attention to why and when are you actually feeling emotionally numb? Like what's happening in you and who are you becoming around certain people? Like, you know how you go to meet a certain set of friends, then you go meet a family member who is completely different. And you notice that, wow, I was completely different person here with the family member than I was with my friends. And that's interesting. So I want you to think about that. Who are you becoming around certain people and who are those people? Because burnout is not always solved by resting harder. Just because you took a 2-hour nap doesn't mean that you overcame burnout. It's something that you have to work on slowly, and it starts with you being honest, because I need you to agree and accept that you are being burnt out. I want you to feel more aligned, more intentional. Stop being the overachiever. Start becoming intentional. And no, that does not mean quitting your job tomorrow because you don't like your coworkers or you don't like the job and it's depleting your energy. Or I don't mean move to a new country and start totally different thing. No, sometimes alignment starts with tiny decisions. Be more honest. Create space for yourself. Like, this is me. That is my area. The entire house can hold a different aesthetic and, look very different. But this corner of the house is just mine because I love what it shows. Old books, new books, different sorts of books, plants that I love, gifts from friends, my books right there on the top. So this makes me feel like myself, even though this corner doesn't tie to the rest of the house. I am okay with it because that keeps me honest. And this corner shouts me. That's who I am. It gives me energy. I love it when I walk past this room or I see this corner. Like, wow, okay. That makes me happy. So I want you to find out what's that space. It doesn't have to be a physical space. It can be a mental space or an emotional one. And I want you to start saying no more often. Say no to friends that are depleting your energy. Say no to relatives who do not understand your cause. It's okay to break ties with people even though you're related to them. Yes, it's going to be very hard, but I know that you can do it. I want you to start resting without guilt. That rest can look completely different. It doesn't just have to be rotting on the couch. It can be completely different. That helps you recover. And I want you to reconnect with your hobbies. What did you love doing when you were a child? what doesn't make sense anymore but still gives you happiness. I want you to start finding those things out. If it's cooking, if it's hosting, if it's dancing, if it's, just running, find out what that is for you and just do it. Reconnect with that hobby of yours. And I want you to start spending time with people who make you feel emotionally safe. If someone doesn't respect you, or if someone isn't understanding your cause or your journey, that's it. They're out. They don't deserve your time or your energy. We need to protect our energy a lot starting today. And it's all these small things, because these small things are going to matter eventually. These are what are going to help you reconnect back to yourself. And I think a lot of people watching and listening this don't actually need to become someone new tomorrow. I think they just need permission for themselves to stop abandoning who they already are. I am giving you that permission now. It's different. It's okay to take 15 minutes out of 24 hours just for yourself. Go be selfish. Do whatever the hell you want. If it's bringing you happiness and you're feeling recharged, then yes, do it. And it's going to feel different. And maybe this is a reminder that someone needs today. Treat this as me giving you this permission that you're allowed to evolve. I am reminding you that you're allowed to admit that version of success that you chased for so long, for so many years, is no longer you, and that it doesn't fit you. You are allowed to outgrow this survival mode and this rat race. This does not make you weak. It's going to make you self-aware. And that's what I want. That's my goal. I want you to be self-aware. I just don't want you to be another person who's just living in a suburban house or an apartment and, you're just 1 out of 1 million. No, I want you to know who you actually are. Become aware of your flaws, of your traits, of your strengths, of your weaknesses. And you know what? Self-awareness is where healing begins. It's not about pretending anymore. You're not performing for someone. You're not endlessly optimizing your life. It's just being honest, the raw version of you, the real you. Because maybe you don't need another productivity hack. You don't need another app to tell you that you can get shit tons of things done with a timer for 20 minutes. You need to ask yourself, when was the last time I actually felt alive? And how did that make me feel? Not productive, not admired, not useful. Alive. That's what I want you to think. Because these are very different things. Yes, you present well, you give an absolutely killer presentation, you're going to feel admired by your coworkers, by your managers, and you might feel productive, but that does not translate being alive, because they're different things. And I think a lot of people are realizing that in their late 30s. So if this video resonated with you, I just want you to know that you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. You might just be exhausted from carrying this version of yourself that's no longer serving you, or it doesn't fit you anymore. And maybe this is the beginning of reconnecting with yourself again. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to leave you the same way that I do with every episode. Keep growing, keep glowing, and be yourself. This is your host, Sheekha Singh, signing off. Bye.